When it comes to making a cozy meal and having lovely leftover possibilities for the week, roast chicken is one of our favorites. The ingredients couldn't be simpler. A quality bird and the simplest seasonings, but finessing a crisp skin and tender meat are the mark of a true Hipcook. A good quality bird is going to be about 4 pounds and serve about 4 people. If you need a little more, do what I do, roast 2. Once you have a beautiful bird, you just want to enhance the flavor. So I'm going to use simple seasonings: fresh ground pepper and sea salt, a little bit of butter and olive oil, and some fresh citrus and fresh herbs. When you get the chicken, rinse it inside and out with cold water and pat it dry. I actually like to dry the chicken in the refrigerator overnight. This helps to keep the meat tender when you roast it. But whatever you do, make sure the chicken's out of the refrigerator for at least a couple hours before you're ready to roast. Preheat your oven to 375 pure convection. It's only going to take about 15 minutes to preheat, so in that time you can season the chicken. You could do it really simply with fresh ground pepper and sea salt, but I want to lush it up a little bit, so I'm going to make an infusion of garlic into butter and olive oil. So get your butter, a couple tablespoons is fine, into a skillet, and a little bit of olive oil. While that's melting, take some garlic. Once you get the skins off, it's kind of nice if you smash the garlic just a little bit with the back of your knife. Break them open, get a little bit more flavor out of them. Add the cloves to the butter and oil just when it's starting to bubble. Then just swirl it around a little bit to get some flavor in there. This is only going to take a couple of minutes. I just want a little bit of an infusion. I'm not even trying to cook the garlic. Save the garlic, because of course we're going to put it inside. But if you take your pastry brush and just brush the butter all over the chicken. What's nice about this is this will mix in with the drippings from the chicken and give us a good base for a pan sauce. For the rest of the seasonings, I'm going to keep it simple. A little bit of fresh ground pepper and some sea salt. And finally, I like to add a little bit of extra character with some citrus. So I'm going to use a lemon, and I want to take advantage of the whole fruit. So that means skin. Hold the fruit in your hand and take your zester and just gently draw it across the fruit. Being careful to just get the color, no white pith. You don't want anything bitter, you just want that beautiful oil. Get that on the chicken. And then take that lemon and cut it in half. And take this guy and pop it right inside. So not only do I get a beautiful flavor from the zest, I also get some lovely lemon flavor that permeates into the chicken. Take the garlic, add it right inside the bird. Finally, a little bit of fresh rosemary. Once you have the bird totally stuffed, take the legs and tie them up to keep all those beautiful ingredients inside. So just bring them together, little piece of kitchen twine, tie it up. Transfer the whole bird to your roasting pan. And be careful to tuck the wings in so they don't get too dark in the oven. This bird is ready to go in a preheated oven. Ah, it's gorgeous. I have the oven rack set so that I can take the bird and have it right in the center of the oven. This way the air can circulate all around and cook it perfectly. This is going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. That gives me just enough time to clean up and set the table. It does look good, but you want to take its temperature just to make sure. So take your meat thermometer, and what you're going to do is find the top of the breast and the base of the thigh, and just stick this guy in right about there. Just make sure that you don't touch any bone because you'll get a false reading if you do. What I'm going for is around 160 degrees. And there we go, 160 on the nose. So good. Now, we're not done yet. The bird actually needs to rest. So I'm going to take it and transfer it to a cutting board. Carefully lift it up so you don't tear the skin. And then tip it a little and get those gorgeous extra juices into the bottom of the pan. Perfect. It's really important that you let the bird rest. So I'll cover it with a little bit of aluminum foil. For a bird this size, I'm going to let it sit for about 15 minutes. The bigger the bird, the longer the rest time. but 15 minutes gives me just enough time to make a delectable pan sauce. To make a good pan sauce, I have all these gorgeous drippings that we let come out of the bird. So take a spoon and just get a couple tablespoons of the fat from the drippings into a hot skillet. And while that's getting warmed up, what I want to do is make a roux. But to make a roux this time, instead of just dropping flour into here and worrying about getting lumps, I'm going to take a couple tablespoons of flour and mix them into some warm butter. So the butter's room temperature, so I can easily mix in. And this way the flour will be really easy to distribute into the hot fat, and I won't get any lumps. Mixture about like that, nice and smooth. And a couple tablespoons of this right in there. And then just in case, you can use a whisk, just to make sure that I don't get any lumps in there. Essentially what you want to do always when you're making a roux is cook the flour and get any bitterness out of it. So if you're curious about what's going on with the flour, look at it, nice color, and then smell it. Once I get to this point and the flour is nicely cooked, I'm going to add a little bit more of the pan drippings. Get those nicely combined. And then once you get to that beautiful color, deglaze the pan with just a little bit of wine. And once the alcohol's burned off, you are ready to go, a perfect pan sauce. And this is gonna go great with your roasted chicken, and how about some roasted vegetables to go alongside?
Try sweet potatoes, beets, and onions, or parsnips, celery root, and carrots. Toss the hot veggies with olive oil and salt to serve, and have a gorgeous meal in about an hour.